Before I talk about Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens, I have to say that this review will be filled with spoilers. I know a lot of you probably watched the movie at least once. The movie's been out for about 2 weeks, and if there are some of you who haven't seen the movie yet, doesn't want to get spoiled, do not watch the rest of this video. Go watch the movie. It's pretty good. I do recommend it if you're a fan of Star Wars. Alright? So that's a warning. There will be spoilers in this review. Okay? Good. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get some people or a lot of people angry at me for saying this, but I absolutely love 80% of the movie. The last 20% is kind of meh. I'll get to that, but let me just talk about all the things I really like. Oh my god, this is one of the most beautiful movies I've seen this year. The visual effects stunning. I love how much practical effects, even the sets, the practical sets they use in this movie. I do like the prequels, well, the majority of them. The first one I liked, second one I thought was a huge bore until the last 30 minutes, and I really liked the third one. And I understood why George Lucas did a lot of blue screen and green screen, and I understood why he wanted to make use of that technology. But now, it's a mixture. We have blue screen and green screen elements, but at the same time, we're using CGI as a tool, and J.J. Abrams and the company use a lot of practical effects. Heck, they even use animatronics, especially that giant cow-looking thing that was drinking water with Finn. And the vehicles, just practical vehicles, but they're using ropes and stuff, so it looks like they're hovering. That's pretty cool. And the CGI, even though there's a lot of CGI, is still very, very good. It looks very good. Except that one scene where it shows the little alien creatures that roll around with the tentacles. That looks a lot like the Marlboros from the Final Fantasy series. It was in the middle of the movie, and even though that scene was a bit unnecessary, but it was a fun scene, to be honest. The score was great by John Williams. I'm a bit disappointed that there's no song that beats Duel of the Fates from the prequels, but the score is pretty good nonetheless, and it's by John Williams. John Williams made the Star Wars soundtrack for every single movie. He was good, he's still good. The characters, oh man. And that's the thing that's better than the prequels. Even though I did like the prequels, I have to admit that there's some characters that you really don't give a shit about, that you don't really care about. But these new characters, especially the new characters for this movie, you like them. You could relate to them. They're good. You want to be on the journey with them. You want to keep continuing with their journey. You want to know what else is going to happen to them. You want to know more about that backstory. That's the thing about Star Wars. You want to be on this journey with this character and see through them the entire galaxy. That's the magic of Star Wars, that you want to experience the adventures of Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo as they help the rebels defeat the Empire and defeat Darth Vader and see what else Darth Vader can do and stuff. So yeah, that's the magic of Star Wars, and it's still here. It's really here, and J.J. Abrams and the company did a great job of that. Daisy Ridley as Rey. She is great. She's a bit like a Disney princess in a sense. She reminds me of Ariel and Belle put together, but she's badass. She's been on this planet all her life, and she wants to meet up with her family. So you feel for her. Every single day, she has to scavenge for her parts so she could get some portions of food, which turns out to be these weird blue-green things that look like Jello at first. But then when you put it into boiling water, and after a minute or two, it becomes this like rice ball or donut or some kind of piece of bread or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's a pretty cool practical effect. This is what she has to go through day by day. She wants some excitement. She wants to leave the planet. She wants to meet up with her family. And then she gets the chance, and then she is very good at a lot of things, even though she's not really that experienced. Even though she's not really a fighter, she still carries this bow staff, and she will kick ass with it. And even though she's inexperienced with blasters, she will learn quickly and use that to protect her friends and shoot the bad guys. And she's not good with a lightsaber at first, but she eventually learns how to use it. And she's not skilled with the Force, but she eventually learns how to use it well. So yeah, that's the thing about her. Even though she's a bit too perfect in my opinion, but still she's a great character, and I'm so glad that we have a female protagonist for a movie like this. We have a male protagonist in Finn, or as his codename is FN2187. The funny thing about him is that he was a stormtrooper, and he manages to find the droid that he's looking for. He's the only stormtrooper in the entire series that finds the droid that he's looking for. John Boyega did a great job. I liked him in Attack the Block. Finn is a great character. At first I was worried that he was gonna be a bit of a pussy, that he's gonna be a wimp, and he might betray Well, he betrayed the First Order, but he's gonna betray Rey and Han Solo and get them in trouble. But actually, no. And he knows his strengths and weaknesses, and he knows that he's not good at piloting a ship, so that's why he finds someone to pilot a ship. He knows that he's not good with the gunner position in the ship, but he'll quickly learn that to do it. He's very good with blasters, and he'll make sure that he would use a blaster to protect Rey and the others. And he's not good with a lightsaber, but he'll make damn sure that he will fight to the death to protect Rey with a fucking lightsaber. So that's what I like about the character. He is awesome. Part of me thought that he was going to be a Jedi because in the trailers we see him with a lightsaber, but no, he is not a Jedi. He's just a regular guy who just happens to be a stormtrooper because he was taken as a baby. I love the jokes with him. He is basically the comic relief of the movie, but he's a fun comic relief. He's not as annoying as Jar Jar Binks or Watto from the prequels. He's a very fun comic relief, and you do like his character. And I also love a couple of jokes he had with Han Solo. One of them is when Finn told Han Solo that he used to be a sanitation worker. That's why he knows about the Starkiller base. And Han Solo's like, what? Are you kidding me? Listen, everyone's counting on us. The whole galaxy is counting on us. And Finn replies, don't worry, we'll figure it out. We'll use the Force. And Han Solo replied, the Force doesn't work like that. Oh, I love that. And also, later on, they meet up with Captain Phasma. Finn is like, what should we do with her? And Han Solo replies, do you have a garbage chute? A trash compactor? And Finn is like, you know we got one of those. So I love that. And that's a reference to Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, with the garbage chute. Oh, man. And it's nice to see all these familiar faces again. We have Harrison Ford back as Han Solo, and it's not a cameo for him. He's in this movie a lot. I mean, almost as much as the original trilogy, to be honest. And Carrie Fisher is basically in it for a cameo, but it's nice to see her as Princess Leia. Oh, I'm sorry, she's no longer Princess Leia. She's General Leia Organa. Also, we see Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill is back for only 2 minutes. Doesn't say a fucking word in this movie, but it's nice to see him back. He's in the Jedi robe. He has a beard now with long hair. He kind of reminds me of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and oh my god, the final scene with him and Rey, it's just great. And we see General Akbar again, and C-3PO and R2-D2, and that's basically it for familiar faces. The new characters are pretty good also. I already talked about the two main protagonists. General Hux, played by Domhnall Gleeson. Oh my god, this guy. I love the fact that he's basically a young version of Tarkin from Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and Domhnall Gleeson knocked it out of the park with this one. What I love about him is his rivalry and Kylo Ren. I like the fact that they keep going to talk to Supreme Leader Snoke, and they're trying to make sure, hey, I'm better than you, that kind of thing. So I love that. And I am so glad he didn't die in this movie, and I can't wait to see him back in episode 8 and 9, and who knows, if he wields a lightsaber, oh my god, that's so awesome, man. And it's funny because we have Domhnall Gleeson and Oscar Isaac in this movie. These two guys just did a movie together. They did Ex Machina right before Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Poe Dameron, I wish that he's in the movie a bit more because he's shown in the beginning of the movie, then they don't show him at all during the middle, and then he finally shows up for the climax of the movie because they need an ace pilot, and he happens to be very good at flying the X-Wing and going through the trenches to defeat the bad guys. Poe Dameron was great, and I love his introduction. He was getting interrogated by Kylo Ren on the planet Jakku. Right before Kylo Ren speaks, Poe Dameron's like, do I talk first? Do you talk first? I really can't tell because of this thing you have right here. I love that. That's great. And what I like is that every time he and Finn talk, it's really entertaining. Because when Finn broke Poe Dameron out, and Poe Dameron's like, wait, why are you doing this? And Finn replies, because it's the right thing to do. And then Poe Dameron's like, you need a pilot. Yeah, I need a pilot. Captain Phasma, she was disappointing. Nothing wrong with the actress portraying her. She looks badass, the suit of armor, that's awesome and stuff, and she's very tall, but she doesn't do shit. She's shown in the beginning of the movie, and then I don't think you see her in the middle of it, and then she shows up at the Starkiller base, and she got caught immediately by Finn and Han Solo and Chewbacca. And I don't think she even shot at anything in this movie, and I don't understand why do you have this woman from the Game of Thrones and you don't even use her? This is the second time. The first time was the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. She's only in it for like a minute and she doesn't do anything. Here too, she ends up being a joke. A funny joke, mind you, but at the same time you're like, I thought this woman would be like a badass bounty hunter or something like that, or a badass soldier, but she doesn't do anything. She got shoved into the garbage chute, and I'm not sure if there's a deleted scene with that, but I kind of want to see her in the garbage chute, and she meets up with the alien that goes whoop 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 with the one eye. But yeah, I don't even know if she survived because Han Solo put her in the garbage chute. But who knows? Hopefully she comes back in episode 8 and 9 because she deserves something. I mean, come on. You hired this actress from Game of Thrones and she doesn't do anything? Come on, man. You could do better with her. Andy Serkis mocaps as Supreme Leader Snoke, and he's only in a movie for like 15 minutes max, but man, you really want to know more about this guy because he's freaking huge, and I'm not sure if that's just a projection of him, but he looks freaking huge, and if he wields a lightsaber and he happens to be that huge, oh my god, I can't wait to see this epic battle with him wielding a giant-ass lightsaber trying to cut Rey and the company down. That would be so awesome. It's kind of like the Shadow of the Colossus a bit, kaiju kind of style. That would be awesome. But I don't know, some of you might think that's kind of stupid, but if this guy turns out to have just force lightning, he's basically Rama from the Final Fantasy series and just throws the lightning down. Oh man, I can't wait to see that. He's in the movie just basically talking with General Hux and Kylo Ren. He doesn't really interact with anyone else, but I do like the dialogue, and he looks sinister, and I love the look of him. I heard that Andy Serkis said that originally they were going with the makeup and stuff, but they couldn't make it look right, so that's why they had to CGI him. But what I like about the face is that he's so disfigured that it's not symmetrical. Like one part is much smaller than the other, so it's like this, and he has this giant scar on his head, so he looks pretty cool. He kind of reminds me of a mixture of the Golem and Cave Troll from the Lord of the Rings movies, but at the same time, I'm okay with the way he looks, and Andy Serkis sounds very badass as a Supreme Leader Snoke. I can't wait to see more of him. Lupita Nyong'o plays Maz, and I'm kind of confused why they picked this actress. Nothing wrong with her, it's just that they picked her, she did the motion capture, and Maz turns out to be a tiny yellow female alien, kind of Yoda-like alien. She's not Yoda, basically. She's not a Jedi, but she knows about the Force, and she's in the movie for about 10 minutes max, and talks about the Force, and talks with Rey about the Force, and say that Finn, this is, you're a coward, and stuff like that, and she has the hots for Chewbacca, and that was very funny. But at the same time, I'm like, do you really need Lupita Nyong'o to do that? I mean, I'm pretty sure any voice actors would love to be in a Star Wars movie, but you happen to pick this actress, and she doesn't really do that much. I don't know. Probably they're going to do more with the character in episode 8 and 9, because she did say that there's a lot of questions that we really want to know, especially about the freaking lightsaber thing. Oh yeah, by the way, I really hope that they answer how she found that lightsaber, because she said that that's the lightsaber that Anakin Skywalker lost, so Obi-Wan picked it up, gave it to Luke Skywalker, who lost it during the fight with Darth Vader in Cloud City in The Empire Strikes Back. That's why Luke Skywalker had to make a green lightsaber out of nowhere. So, but that happens to be the same lightsaber that happens to be Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. Where the hell did she find that? Where the hell did she get it? I want to know. But hopefully they'll answer it in episode 8 or 9. If they don't answer it, I'm gonna be so pissed, because it was lost in Cloud City, man. Luke Skywalker got his arm chopped off. Come on, you gotta answer that. So that's a little nitpick, but like I said, hopefully that's they'll answer that in episode 8 and 9. But yeah, Maz, I don't understand why they had to pick Lupita Nyong'o, but she did a not bad job, and her character's cool, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure you could have picked any voice actress, and they would love to be in a Star Wars movie. I understand why you pick Andy Serkis, because he's professional at it, but Lupita Nyong'o, I don't know. And who knew that BB-8 would be an awesome droid? Seriously. When I saw the trailers, I was a bit worried about him, because I was like, oh, you're not R2-D2, and you're just a rolling ball thing with a magnet top or something like that. I don't give a shit. But no, he's very likable, and he does a lot of cool things. What I like about him is that, at first I thought he's a helpless little rolling ball, but he has these gadgets, like he could shoot out springs and could attach to walls and stuff. That was pretty cool. And I love the way he rolls around on the steps, like rolling a little bit around the steps, stop, roll on the step, and stop. That was pretty nice. And I love that he's mostly a practical effects. Some times the CG, if they need him to jump around, bounce around, and stuff for some hijinks. But yeah, he's mostly a practical effect, and he's a very good practical effect. And yeah, he's very likable. I like the discussion BB-8 between BB-8 and Finn when Finn was telling BB-8 the truth that he's not part of the Resistance, that he's part of the First Order, but he will make sure that BB-8 gets to the Resistance because he made the promise with Poe Dameron. And BB-8 is looking at Rey, and Finn is like, and then agrees with Finn to bring BB-8 to the Resistance, and Finn's like giving the thumbs up, and BB-8 takes out its lighter and gives the thumbs up. That was nice. And yeah, I love the jokes were pretty damn good in this movie, and BB-8 provides some of the best laughs. And there were a couple cameos too, especially from the Raid guys, the main hero and one of the bad guys from the Raid movies, and yeah, Mad Dog. And I was kind of disappointed by this cameo. I thought they were going to do something badass in the movie, but they didn't. They didn't even fight or anything. Mad Dog was shooting at the Marlboro-looking alien. I believe they're called Reptars or something like that. But yeah, they didn't do much in the movie. It's just a small cameo, and I don't even know why they're in it. Probably they're huge Star Wars fans, and they really want to be in the movie. I don't know. Probably the J.J. Abrams and company were huge Raid fans, and they're like, "Oh, we want you in our movie." Hopefully they kick ass in episode 8 and 9 because you don't really see them die. You see a couple of their crew members die, but not them exactly. So who knows? Hopefully they come back. To me, the best scene is when Rey, Finn, and BB-8 are trying to escape from the First Order on the planet of Jakku. And I love the way it's set up. Finn meets up with Rey. BB-8 tells Rey that Finn has stolen Poe Dameron's jacket, so Rey comes over to Finn and beats him up with the stick. BB-8 keeps shocking him, and it was a very funny scene. And Finn tells BB-8 the truth that Poe Dameron is probably dead, and BB-8's sad, so he rolls off. And then Rey asks Finn, "Are you part of the Resistance?" And Finn says yes. The way he saw Rey looked at him, he's like, "I never felt that before, and I really didn't want to disappoint her, so I just say that I'm part of the Resistance." So he's like, "Yeah, I'm part of the Resistance. I'm part of the Resistance." And she's like, I never met a Resistance fighter before." And then Finn replies, "Yeah, that's what we all look like." And then at that time, the First Order happens to be on the planet of Jakku, so Finn keeps taking Rey's hand, and she gets annoyed by that, and they just run from the First Order. After a little bit of running around through the town, they end up going to the port, and Finn is like, "Wait, why don't we take that ship?" And Rey's like, "That ship's garbage! We'll take this one!" And the one she wanted to explode, so she's like, "Okay, the garbage would do." And then the camera pans over to show the Millennium Falcon. Oh my god. The audience I was with was ecstatic, and I cheered when I saw the Millennium Falcon. Oh my god, my audience was awesome. And we're like, "Oh my god, she said it was garbage, and it turns out to be the Millennium Falcon! It's just like Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope! Oh my god!" So they get into the ship, and Finn takes over the gunner position, just like Luke Skywalker did in the Episode 4, and Rey takes over the pilot, and they're both inexperienced with this, but they're trying their best because they don't want to die, so they're flying the Millennium Falcon through the Graveyard of Giants. I think that's what the map was called from the Battle of Jakku DLC from the Star Wars Battlefront, the Graveyard of Giants. And they're trying to go through this terrain. They go inside the giant ship, and then they destroy the two ships that were following them, and then they go out into space. That whole scene was great. J.J. Abrams is very good at starship battles, and this one is no exception. Oh my god, it's so good. I loved it. To me, the best moment of the entire movie. To me, and the second best moment to me is when you see Han Solo and Chewbacca for the first time. You've seen this part in the trailers, but when you finally see it in the movie, because Rey and Finn thought that these guys were the bad guys and they happened to be on board of the Millennium Falcon. But then it turns out to be Han Solo and Chewbacca, and the first words Han Solo said is, "Chewie, we're home." And I was like, oh my god, that felt so Good. I feel like I'm home. We get to see these familiar faces again in these familiar places, and it feels so good. This movie is so nostalgic, and I love it. It's so great. So yeah, that was my second most favorite moment of the movie. And like I said, the first 80% of the movie was very good. The action sequences in that first 80% very good. The setting looks awesome, and I like the fact that it takes they go to different planets with different environments. So the Jakku is basically Tatooine from Star Wars Episode A New Hope, and the marshy the forest reminds me of Endor a little bit. And then the final sequence, it takes place in a planet that's basically Hoth, even though it's basically a giant Death Star. But yeah, it reminds me of Hoth. So that's what I really like about it. And the X-Wing fight is pretty good. We see Poe Dameron again with the other X-Wing fighters, and pew 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 pew, pow, 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 pow. And Finn tests out the lightsaber for the first time, and that was a pretty badass fight with him against the stormtrooper who calls him a traitor. He's like, traitor! And then he whips out this, I don't know what kind of weapon it is, but it spins around and it has like a laser thing also. It's like, and oh my god, the sound effects, the sound design is so great too. Oh my god. With all that said, I have to get to the flaws of the movie. Okay, you're probably wondering why I haven't spoken about Kylo Ren yet. I'm not saying Kylo Ren's a bad character. In the beginning of the movie, he was fucking badass. I love the introduction to him. Right after he kills Max von Sydow, Poe Dameron tries to shoot him with the laser rifle, and Kylo Ren was fast enough to not only freeze Poe Dameron, but freeze the laser beam from the laser rifle. That was fucking awesome. I love that. I don't think I ever seen that in the Star Wars movie or the TV show yet. Because I know Darth Vader is able to deflect the laser beams, but I don't think he ever froze it before. So seeing this on screen was fucking badass. I was like, oh my god, Kylo Ren is so badass. He's strong with the Force that he could freeze a fucking laser beam. And he's able to unfreeze Poe Dameron, but kept the laser beam in place and interrogates Poe Dameron, and then leaves the area after 3 minutes, and then the laser beam finally shuts off. Wow, that was awesome. And I love the fact that he has these little temper tantrums whenever something doesn't go his way. Like one guy explained to him, sir, we lost a droid. It went on top of the Millennium Falcon. And then Kylo Ren's like, ding! And destroys the computer terminal. And he asks, anything else? And the guy's like, there's a girl. And then he got the force choked, and then he was dragged over to Kylo Ren. He's like, what girl? So yeah, I love little moments like that. And Kylo Ren was a very interesting character at first. But then they explain way too much of him. I'm okay with the fact that he's Ben Solo, that he's Han Solo and Princess Leia's son. I'm okay with that. But to me, he lost me right after he took off his helmet just to show Rey his face. I didn't like that. And also, I didn't like the fact that he looks like a normal guy, but right after he takes off the mask, his voice was whimpering too much. I mean, you could say that that's because of the voice changer module for the helmet, but he sounds like he's about to cry, and I was like, we got this already in the prequels. It's Anakin Skywalker again. Which is why I really didn't like that part about the character. I was like, he's too much like Anakin Skywalker, which is probably the point because he's following in his grandfather's footsteps. But yeah, I didn't like that. And a lot of the guys I talked to, they really like Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, and I was like, really? But you guys gave Hayden Christensen shit for Darth Vader, and he was whiny in that one too. And here, Adam Driver's whiny as well. So I'm kind of confused. Why are you okay with Adam Driver being this way, but not Hayden Christensen? Is it because Hayden Christensen ends up being Darth Vader? That's why? And this one is just a different guy, so you're okay with that? But I was okay with that in the prequels because the way he was treated and the Jedi would never let him in, his mother died. I understood why he ends up being wimpy, and then he loses his limbs because of the fight against Obi-Wan Kenobi and ends up being a badass like Darth Vader, into the badass Darth Vader. I get that. But for Kylo Ren, I don't get it. We're doing this again? The whole whiny Anakin Skywalker thing? Come on. You could do something better than that. And also, what I didn't like is that his face wasn't disfigured at first. It's not like he has red eyes or yellow eyes or something like that, or he has scars or black eyes or whatever. Nothing, just to prove that he's evil. Now, I know some of you would say that's because he's struggling with the Force, like he's stuck between the good side and the bad side, and he really wants to be in the dark side. So, I guess, but I don't know. I just didn't like that part of the character. And another thing, right after he kills Han Solo. I'm not saying that the whole Han Solo death thing was bad. I thought that was good. Almost everyone knew it was coming, mostly because every time Harrison Ford mentions about Kylo Ren, he's like, oh my god, I know I'm gonna die today. And also Harrison Ford did say that he wants Han Solo to die in one of the Star Wars movies. And I give balls to the crew for making it happen in the first of the trilogy. But that's the thing, I was like, isn't Harrison Ford signed on to do the trilogy anyway? So does that mean that we're gonna see Han Solo as a Force Ghost? Who knows? But yeah, when Han Solo crossed the bridge to talk to Kylo Ren, I was like, he's a dead man. He's a fucking dead man. We know this is gonna happen. And Kylo Ren has to kill Han Solo anyway, so he could turn himself more to the dark side. And that's one of the tests that the Supreme Leader Snoke gave him anyway, so he had to pass that. So yeah, I knew what was going to happen, and I was okay with that. And I love the reaction of Chewie, Rey, and Finn. They're both all like, no! And then Chewbacca just shoots Kylo Ren with the bowcaster. But the thing is that the movie kind of lost me right after that scene because of the lightsaber fight. I'm okay with Finn being inexperienced with the lightsaber. I'm okay with Rey not being experienced with the lightsaber. I'm not okay with Kylo Ren being on equal footing with Rey and Finn. Well, mostly with Rey. In the lightsaber fight and with the Force. I didn't get that. You could say that the light side triumphs over the dark side. I get it. But Kylo Ren, he was taught by Luke Skywalker. And taught by Supreme Leader Snoke. You're telling me that he would lose to Rey that easily? No! And a lot of you people say that the fight is brutal and realistic, and I'm like, not really, no. I understand if you guys don't like the choreography from the prequels, like you think it's too flashy, showy, that's mostly for show, the whole flips and turns and stuff, but I was okay with that because they're fucking Jedi Masters. In the original trilogy, yes, the fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader is like two old men just banging sticks together, and it's still kind of entertaining, but at the same time, it's not as impressive. But later on, between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, they're fighting the lightsabers, fight to the death. That's really badass, and it's more Kendo style, and I love it. And I was hoping for this movie to be in the middle of that, like have great choreography, like Kylo Ren doing all these awesome moves that could block anything and stuff. But no, he doesn't really do that much. And I didn't like that. I mean, they should not be on equal footing. It should be Kylo Ren being far superior to Rey. And I know some of you are saying, you do remember that Chewbacca shot Kylo Ren on the side with the bowcaster. I'm like, yeah, but he's the dark side. He should be trained for that. He should know to hold in his pain and use it for his anger to get bigger power. Isn't that the point? You know, let the hate flow through you so you could get more powerful with the dark side? Come on. So I didn't get that. And Rey's so much powerful with the Force. And this is her first time. Huh? And that's my flaw with Rey, that she's too good with the Force. She learned it way too quickly. But like I said, she's a great character. It's just that I felt like Kylo Ren should be far superior in both lightsaber skills and the Force skills. If Rey has to use everything. Rey has to use everything to survive. So she would learn how to use the Force, to use the telekinesis, to throw snow in Kylo Ren's face, to block his vision so she could get a stab at him with the lightsaber or something. Or use a lightsaber or use the Force to bring down the trees to block Kylo Ren. Something like that. Use the environment to your advantage. That's what I was hoping for. But no, they're just hitting them with the lightsabers. Like that. And I didn't like that. The fight didn't feel real to me. I mean, I don't know. And I didn't like the part that Kylo Ren's like, you need a teacher. Don't worry, I'll teach you about the ways of the Force. And then Rey's like, the Force? And she was like that in that stance for like 30 seconds and Kylo Ren doesn't do shit. I didn't get that. Why? Is that like a trope with the bad guys, with the Sith? Like, they should have one moment where they act like they're frozen or being stupefied, that the good guys would get the upper hand on them? First it was Darth Maul looking like he's very surprised that Obi-Wan's able to jump over him, even though he has the lightsaber, and he could have stabbed Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's jumping straight in front of him. And Anakin Skywalker got his arms chopped off when he tried to jump over Obi-Wan Kenobi. And now Kylo Ren's not doing anything while Rey is closing her eyes and doing this the entire time? I don't get it. What was Kylo Ren thinking? What was he doing? I didn't like that part. But to me, the biggest flaw with the movie is the fact that this movie is basically a remake of Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. At first, I thought there was just going to be a couple similarities, like, okay, they have a droid, which has vital information. It happens to be on this desert planet, where it's the home of the protagonist of the movie. And the protagonist of the movie happens to go on top of the Millennium Falcon to leave the desert planet, to meet up with the Resistance. I was like, okay, that's a nice callback to Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. But no, it keeps going even further. Not only do they meet up with the Resistance, but the protagonist of the movie gets a mentor. And that mentor ends up dying on the fucking Death Star. I know it's called Starkiller Base, but it's a fucking Death Star. And also, the end of the movie, the rebels were able to go inside one of the ports or a hole through the Death Star, destroy it, kaboom! Death Star destroyed, rebels celebrate. Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, basically. But it's now called Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens. Are you kidding me? The whole Death Star thing, too, I think that's when it lost me with that. Because when they were talking about this new planet called the Starkiller Base, which has the power to destroy planets, at first I was like, oh, this sounds kind of interesting. But when they showed the designs, when people are like, so it's another Death Star. But wait, it's not another Death Star. Death Star is this size. It's this size. And Han Solo was like, oh, it's just bigger. Yeah, it's just bigger. Do we really need another Death Star in this? And this one is the size of a star now? Because the Death Star in the original trilogy is like the size of a moon? So, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I just didn't like that part. You don't have to remake Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. You don't have to borrow all the same elements from that. So that's why I was disappointed by that, and that's why I didn't like the final 20% of the movie. Besides the ending. The ending was good, but that 20%, no. I was like, you pushed it way too much, man. And it's weird, because this is a J.J. Abrams movie, and he did write it. He's one of the 3 writers. But, yeah, he did a movie, Star Trek Into Darkness, which is basically a remake of Star Trek Wrath of Khan. And now we have Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens, which is a remake of Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. And I just didn't like that. Probably you guys are more okay with it because you're like, hey, listen, man, Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope is still a great film. If this movie is basically a remake, it's still a good movie. I understand that. I do. And it is a good movie, but I just didn't like that part. That part in the final lightsaber battle, I just didn't like. I couldn't get into it. But like I said, the 80% of the movie is freaking good, and I almost cried at the visuals, and the score was good. Seeing the opening titles to Star Wars is awesome, and hearing the score, the presentation, the ships, and all the familiar characters, and even the new characters with the callbacks to the other movies. Yeah, I did like it. I did. It's just that when it goes too much in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, that's when it lost me. But, like I said, guys, I really like it. I dug it. It's a good movie. Probably that's all you need. You just need a good Star Wars movie. And this is basically a good start to a new trilogy. Can't wait for Episode 8 and 9. And I want to see if Luke Skywalker trains with Rey. And she becomes a better Jedi. And oh my god. And hopefully Kylo Ren doesn't become such a pussy. And he ends up being very strong and evil. I want to see more with him and General Hux. So yeah. Can't wait for Episode 8 and 9. So the next one will be in 2017, I believe. May 2017. So a year and a half. Alright guys, that's how I feel about Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Write down in the comments below if you watched the movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know. Guys, if you like this video, please click the like button. If you'd like to subscribe, there's an annotation here for subscribing. So until next time, guys, see you later and thank you for watching.